Hey, what is going on? So, I just have a little prestige list for you, and you're often going to get requests on upgrading for prestige, or if you're looking for a new alliance, they have prestige requirements. But while a lot of officers and leaders and teammates would want you to rank for prestige, you may very well want to use your SIG stones on someone who is actually useful. And so I am here to help you kind of do both at the same time, and here are the best prestige options that will actually help you, and more importantly, whose SIG will actually help you. Because it's one thing to say, oh, let's rank for prestige, but those SIG stones too, and those are very valuable. So here are good champions who have good benefit from signature level being as high as possible. So I'll start with the mutant class, and that is Professor X, because essentially you get your specials to hit even harder. Oh, and also any single person on this list, with exception of the SIG 20 beasts, is going to be above 13.6 at SIG 200. So anybody on this top list will be above 13,600 prestige when at max SIG as a 6-star rank 3. So number one is Professor X because he gets the prowess and extra damage on his special attacks. Then you've got Strife. It gives him a Havoc-esque Sig ability, which is basically when you get a charge, you might have a chance to get another charge, and you carry over some of your charges to the next fight into your persistent meter bank. Namor, this one's pretty standard. A lot of people know about this one, and it reflects damage up to 100%. This one you wanted actually at 200, not as high as possible. Apocalypse, this one's just healing. This one, it's okay. It's an okay ability. I wouldn't necessarily... I would use Mutant Stones, but I wouldn't use generics. But it's still a pretty good ability. He's an amazing champion, and he has good prestige as well, obviously. Moving on to the skill class, Shang-Chi. I believe it's extra damage on critical hits. I want to say it's extra damage. Falcon, extra crit rating. Hitmonkey, his senses last longer. And Self-Spidey, his furies are more potent. Science, we have got Eye Bomb, which is longer acid burns and I think poison effects. I'm not sure on that one though. Thing gives him a protection. It starts at 1% for each rock field and it can go up to 80% at base, and that could obviously add up to 100% and therefore make him unkillable if you have seen during some incursion runs. Mr. Negative, this awakened ability, I forget exactly what it does, but I know that it uses a ton of SIGs. I'll put it in the comments, but Mr. Negatives is a helpful one. That being said, not really that important because a lot of people don't have him, but I remember it being pretty helpful, and I will be putting what it does in the comments. Red Guardian, it basically makes it so you can parry and keep up his shield. Mystic, we've got Tigra. She starts with her senses, and the senses get longer. One notable thing about Tigra is that she really has inversely, or she has exponential scaling, rather. Her first 100 SIGs are going to give her pretty much no time on that clock, and then your last 50 SIGs, last 100 SIGs, most likely last 40 SIGs are the ones that are really going to make a difference, and so you want to get her as high as physically possible and as quickly as possible. Diablo, it gives him a passive protection. That's not what they call it, but it is when he is poisoned, and it gives you attack rating when the opponent is poisoned, and so it's very helpful. Sorcerer Supreme, it gives you increased ability accuracy across the board, which makes her a phenomenal domino counter. I believe it's SIG 17 in which she can counter domino, and SIG 200 in which she can counter domino even when unlucky. So very, very potent ability. It also increases the potency of her blessings, but that one is secondary. Mojo, when you are at 5 of the haters, you get a massive fury. Even at SIG 1, it's very helpful. It's something like 100% of attack or something crazy. But at SIG 200, it's very, very potent. I've put Dr. Doom in here because his SIG at SIG 1, it's very helpful. At max SIG, it's helpful. Anything in between max SIG and SIG 1 is not very helpful. But he's also Dr. Doom, and he's also Prestige Beast. So because he's a Prestige Beast, because he's an insane champion, and because at SIG 1 and SIG 200, it's helpful, I went ahead and put him in grayed out as like a iffy, mostly prestige, but a little bit of helpful use as well. For Cosmic, we have Hercules, and he is, in my opinion, the best option for stones. I would happily chuck generics in him, all that good stuff. Captain Marvel movie as well. Oh, Hercules' ability, it allows him to go into immortality state when he gets put down to 0, and immortality is paused during special attacks and while hitting, and so it says up to 9-second immortality, but in reality that could very well be 30-40 seconds. And it makes him unblockable and immune to death. Captain Marvel movie gives her a indestructibility whenever entering binary ignition, and so you could have up to 12 seconds of doing whatever in the world you want for the first beginning of the fight, in which you could also burst and throw a special 2. Very, very potent ability. Two more grayed out options. Red Goblin, it every single time it'll give you a little bit of a little symbiote buff, and it has reduced potency. And so the higher your sig is, the less of a reduction in potency your buffs will have, and that's very, very powerful. Silver Surfer, it's the exact opposite. The higher your sig will be, the more potency your buffs have, but they both kind of have the same effect. Silver Surfer is actually a decent champion, really good for map 7 and a couple other things, and obviously because he's so darn good in Prestige, he goes as a grayed out option. Same with Red Goblin. In tech, we have Guardian and Silver Centurion. Guardian, it gives him energy resistance, bleed resistance, and block proficiency. Phenomenal, phenomenal ability. Silver Centurion, it increases the duration of plasma, and I want to say it also does it increases the duration of lock-on. Guillotine 2099, when getting hit, it'll give a better chance of getting a power shield. I don't really like that ability that much, but given that she's a phenomenal rank 3 option, she's a really good prestige option, and it is certainly helpful. I put her in a grayed out. Warlock, it basically just helps make the degen stronger when someone is being power drained, which is for the most part when they're infected and heal blocked. So that one's not that helpful either. Once again, phenomenal rank 3 options, so that's grayed out. Overall, these are people, the top, I want to say it's top 12 that I would give generic 6 stones, and it goes in this order: Hercules, Guardian, Iron Bomb, Tigra. Those 4 are the top 4, and so I put them on the bottom as well in little tokens. Captain Marvel movie, Shang-Chi, Professor X, Diablo, Thing, Strife, Silver Centurion, and Sorcerer Supreme. One thing to note is if you're playing the long game, Cosmic class, for example, and Tech class only have 2 phenomenal options, and so if you're playing the long game, I want to stress that, you might not want to use generics on those, because eventually you're going to get 200 Cosmic Stones, but those generics can go to anyone. So maybe, say, you can sig up Hercules with Cosmic Stones, and Guardian with Tech Stones, and then someone like I-Bomb, you can give generics, because you can also give those generics to Thing. Just something to think about, but I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter. And then let's just glaze over the SIG 20 beasts, and that would be Captain America Infinity War, Doc Ock, Gambit, and Morningstar. All 4 of these are phenomenal at SIG 20. This is more of an awakening prestige option, because obviously they're good at low SIG, and so it's not that helpful in terms of SIG 200. But these are also 4 very good options that are good on actual fighting, but also with prestige. And so yeah, this is a really, really good set. Hercules number 1 easily, Guardian, I-Bomb, and Tigra number 2, 3, and 4 in rapid succession, and a little bit closer in terms of who you would use it on. It's really up to you. But yeah, these are some really good prestige options, and I mean, hopefully you can use your SIGs in such a way that will help your alliance and you in every facet of the game.